I really wish I could start this video with a really beautiful quote. Siri, cancel. Siri, cancel. I really wish I could start this video with a beautiful quote for you to understand this idea better and connect with it more. But it's all been so overused that it's almost a cliche at this point, so I'm not gonna try until the very end. Recently, I was watching this very, very, very old video of mine, and in that video, I was like 19 years old or 20 years old, and it was me talking about how you're not behind in life, and whatever is happening, it's in the perfect timing, and trust the timing of your life and things like that. And the funny thing is that while I was watching it, I was in a period of time where I was feeling like I'm behind in life. Like I have graduated college and I'm living in my dream city, but I don't have any prospects of jobs and I do not know what I'm going to do in my life. And like the adulting thing was really daunting on me. And it felt like the world was about to end and I just didn't know what I was going to do. But it was something beautiful about having a younger version of you tell you that you're not behind. Things are taking time, and that's about it. You're just in the perfect timeline. There is nothing you need to compare yourself to, no one you need to compare yourself to, and things will ultimately fall in place. And it was like a full circle moment in its own right, and just outright beautiful. In a way, it was also a moment of realization where you're like, I have come so far. Like back in the time when I recorded that video, probably the only thing I wanted was to move abroad and live by myself. And I was thinking about all the ways I would spend my time living alone. And now I get to do that, and I forgot to appreciate it. And I still feel like I'm behind in life while I'm in the middle of living something that I've prayed for endlessly. I think we really need to sometimes take a step back and look at it instead of, especially when that feeling of, oh, I'm so behind in life comes up, because where does that notion even come from? Why does every single person on this planet feel like they're behind? What are we behind? Like, what are we comparing our timeline to? Like, this is the only timeline in this reality. This is how your life is unfolding. What are you comparing it to know that it is wrong? You're behind. You're exactly where you need to be. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. You're exactly where your actions have led you in your life. And it kind of makes you question all those things, because then you can conclude it as a very, very silly thought, because that's what it is. Just because the expectation of your mind do not mean the reality of your life, it does not mean that you're behind in life. It means that you need to make decisions and choices about where you want to go and act upon it instead of ruminating on what you don't have. Some people bloom at 23, some bloom at 16, some bloom at 56, some at 37. None of them are right or wrong. None of them are in the right timeline or a wrong timeline. None of them are behind. They're just different people. They have different ideologies and priorities. They made different decisions. They made different choices. They have different priorities. They had different crossroads. They had different situations than yours. And most of importantly, they are different people on different timelines. If I can give you an analogy, and I think this analogy comes from a younger version of me, credits to her. But the analogy is, life has given you questions in the format of crossroads in your life. You cannot cheat or manipulate your answers out of it. by looking into somebody else's answer sheet, because the questions you've got are completely different, in completely different context, in a completely different scenario than anybody else's. No two situations are ever identical. You cannot follow somebody else's timeline or their checklist of life. Oh, the XYZ person bought a house at 23. That's the target. That is, the checklist. That's what I need to achieve by 23. No, dummy. No, you don't have to. If you want that, you have to make certain choices. You have to have certain resources. But do you have them? If you do not have those resources, you need to figure out how to build those resources to be able to get where that person started from. And it is not going to be on the same timeline. As simple as that. So ultimately, I think it is so important for us to just stop comparing ourselves and putting this pressure on ourselves about, I need to be there in my life. Well, did you make the decisions? Did you make the choices? That's all you can do. That's all in your hands. The rest, everything else is life's department. Let life unfold. Trust the timing of your lives. Just show up. That's all you need to do. Just show up. And the moment your gut says, no, I don't want this life, I want something else, pack up your bags, leave, and then unpack the details of how you're going to get there later. Besides, that is life's department. Life will handle how you get there. All you need to do is show up. You show up at the station, the train of opportunity, oh my God, the train of opportunity will arrive, one after the other, every single day. You have the opportunity to make that decision. You have the opportunity to change your life in this moment. But all it takes is to sit in that discomfort. And I can go on and on about you being able to sit, you having to sit in that discomfort. But for that, you need to understand the behind the scenes of that discomfort, where that discomfort comes from. And that is going to come from your decision making. And for you to be able to make that decision, you need to stop comparing yourself in the first place. And you need to stop shaming yourself that I have not achieved XYZ. Honestly, the checklist, and I think we put so much of the pressure on ourselves to fulfill the checklist that, first of all, we did not make. Second of all, is basically just draining you out of enjoying the present moment. You are no longer enjoying life as it comes. You're so focused on, I need to achieve that, I need to achieve that, I need to do this, I need to do that. I need to pass my exams, get in the best university, get the get best job, get a six-figure business, start a six-figure business, and this and that. Stop, slow down. It's literally stopping you from enjoying the moment and living in the anxiety of the future that hasn't arrived yet. And then you look back at some point in your life where you were so stressed about, I'm running out of time. Oh, I need to do this. I need to do that. And years later, when you look back and you're like, the time hadn't even arrived. How did I even think that I was running out of it? I cannot stress this enough. Trust the timing of your life. Genuinely, blindly trust the timing of your life. Have so much of self-confidence, have so much trust in yourself that you will figure it out. You will get out of that anxiety of, oh my God, what am I going to do? Darling, you'll figure it out. You always have. My aunt used to say this thing, at the end of the day, everybody figures it out. You're not special, I'm not special, nobody is special. Life forces you to figure it out. And then I did read this, I think I read it on Substack or somewhere, but it was, You worry too much for somebody who has already always figured it out. And it is so important to remind ourselves that, yeah, we have figured it out always and always. I'm sorry, I just burped. Oh my God, I've never burped in my life before. Oh, that was weird. For me, I keep reminding myself that I figured out how to live by myself. I figured out how to move and navigate in a completely different country, to the point that I do travel into other different countries. Nobody in my bloodline has ever done that. I have figured it out. I can figure it out again. I remember crying at the Dubai airport the first time I took an international flight. I was crying in the toilet in the Dubai airport, and it was scary. It was so scary. And I met this Australian couple in my flight from Dubai to London, and after my flight, like after we landed in London, they hugged me and they told me, "You'll figure it out, kiddo." And if you're watching, you know you guys, it's you guys. I love you guys. I love you guys so much that, like, literally to this day I remember you guys. So shout out to you. I think we should be spending our 20s trying to understand ourselves rather than trying to figure out life. Because in our 20s, for the first time, we are with ourselves. Because tell me why, how did I realize in the past few months that I love eating fruits when all my life I've spent hating them? I have learned so many new things about myself living alone. I never knew that. I never knew that I did not have any boundaries with respect to working hours and relaxation. Like, that thing was always and always messed up for me. Like, it's the same thing to me. Like, I need to literally rewire myself and be like, nah, this is relaxation. This is just chill out a little bit. And there's so many more things. I love weekly shopping rather than monthly shopping. And I used to work in retail, and I was like, why do people come every week? Now I know why. For the first time, I know why. Things will be revealed to you in due time. Just trust the timing of your life. And I say this to myself every single day. Every single day when I have that anxiety of, oh, I need to figure it out. I need to do this. Calm down. You will figure it out when it comes to that. You are figuring things out every single day. You're not behind at all. And when it comes to the checklist, let's sit down. You did not make the checklist of finishing college by 22, getting a job by 24, getting promotion by 26, 27, starting a family, or finding the one in your late 20s, starting a family in your 30s, buying a house in your 30s, mid 30s, saving for college funds for your kids, blah, 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 retirement plan, 401k, blah, blah. None of that is your checklist. Let's sit down. Let's pull out the phone. Let's make the checklist. What if your checklist can include, and I'm going to go in extremes, what if your checklist can include traveling around the world in your 20s? Risking it all, becoming a digital nomad if you want to, or starting a business, starting a cafe, go out, work in a cafe, be a barista, make friends with the cafe owner, maybe take over the cafe. I don't know, do that if that's your checklist. Or if your checklist includes, I kind of feel like I want to go back to college, I want to go back to uni, but I'm 35 years old, and you finally have the funds to do that. Like, I think you can financially afford that if you're thinking about it without having to ask your parents for money at 35. Then you can do that. Isn't that a good thing? Isn't that an opportunity? Shouldn't that excite you? And if you want to start a family in your 30s, look at your biological clock and make a decisive decision. And let's go from there. You are never behind. Let your life unfold. And that's what I'm going to talk about. That's all it is. My tea is cold, I think. kind of. I think I'd like to end this video somewhere at saying, you cannot mess up your timeline. You just cannot. You are not behind, because there's nothing to compare that timeline to. This is the only timeline that exists. So you're not behind. You're exactly where you need to be. You just need to figure out what's the next step. Put one foot in front of the other and trust the timing of your life. And then everything else is life's department. You are not... I'm trying my best to articulate it. You're in the process of becoming someone. Someone you love, someone you like, someone you want to be. Do not rush it. Enjoy it. And the process of becoming is kind of slow, but only if you're not enjoying it. So the moment you start enjoying this process of becoming who you want to be, it is the most beautiful experiences. It is like falling in love, but with yourself. It will give you those nice butterflies. It will give you like a little fizzy feeling, a feeling of like just falling in love with yourself. And remember one thing, you're not walking towards some predetermined destiny. You're not finding yourself, you're creating yourself, and there is a difference. And that change in perspective, I think, is so beautiful. And I might actually write a whole essay on Substack about this. I might just as well do that. You're not finding yourself, you're becoming the person you want to be. You're creating yourself, so enjoy it. You're not behind. And if you like what I talk about here, feel free to read my Substack. The links are down below. Also, if you're too much in your head and you want to kind of like get out of it, that spiral, I have made a 5-question PDF that is linked in the description below. So have a look, read through it. Maybe that might just help you. It's free, so might as well just take it. And I'll see you in the next one. Until next time.